S.S.S. Mishpatim, Tafshin Ayin Tes. We're moved to a little bit of a different location this week in Bika Cholim of Lakewood. We had to improvise, new studio this week. I don't know if this is going to become our permanent studio, but it is something different. So the first thing I want to do is thank our audio and audio-visual camera crews for improvising and setting everything up so beautifully here. And we really, really appreciate it, and so will the thousands of people who see this around the world. And this week in S.S.S. Mishpatim, we get to a little bit of a different section of the Torah. And we all know that we went through the Seder Bereshis, we went through Yitzias Mitzrayim, Geulas Mitzrayim, Shibud Mitzrayim, and there was one theme and a very, if we could call it a little bit easy to elaborate and to speak on, but the Nesivos Shalom's real talent shows and begins to show in this week's Parsha when we get to a bit more of the laws of the Torah, of different halachas, different things next week when it comes to the Mishkan, a whole different section of the Torah, and you see how the Nesivos Shalom takes what would seem to be sometimes very dry facts and laws and turn them into tremendous and uplifting lessons for every one of us. And the pasuk at the beginning of our parsha, Parshas Mishpatim, tells us about the halachos of an eved, of avodim. And the Torah tells us, Ki sikneh eved ivri, sheish shanim ya'avoid. You buy an eved ivri for some reason. A Jew had to sell himself as a slave, as a servant. Sheish shanim ya'avoid. He should work for 6 years. Uvashvi'is, in the 7th year, Yeitzei lachavshi chinam. He goes out free, 7th year. You work for 6 years, you go out free in the 7th year. And the Torah continues a little further. What happens v'im amar yamar ha'eved? If the eved says, I don't want to leave. Ahavti es adoini, es ishti v'es bonai. I like my situation here. I like my situation where I am right now, even though he's a servant. But he says, I like it, I don't want to leave. Lo yeitzei chavshi. I don't want to leave. And then the Torah goes on and tells us that they should take him to the doorpost and they put a hole through his ear, and we know all those halachas. And the Nesivos Shalom takes this parsha where we speak about servants, where we speak about avodim, and the Nesivos Shalom says from this parsha of avodim, we could learn a very, very important lesson that applies to all of us. And the way it applies to us is because we are essentially Avdei Hashem. And we are supposed to be servants of Hashem. And we are servants of Hashem. And the question is, what kind of a servant are you? What kind of a servant am I? What am I? And that is the parsha of avodim in this week's parsha. And we speak about the different types of avodim and the different types of avodas Hashem. And there are really 3 types. We know there's an eved ivri, there's an eved kanani, and then the Gemara talks about a chatzi eved v'chatzi ben chayrin, one who's sort of in the twilight zone. He's sort of in the middle. But what we're going to focus now on is an eved ivri. What does eved ivri mean to us? And the Gemara Masechta Kedushin Daf Tezvav Amud Aleph tells us, you know what an eved ivri is? An eved ivri is one who serves his master bein bayoim uvein balayla. He serves his master in the daytime and in the nighttime. And when we say day and night, we mean that he's a trustworthy eved, and he doesn't just hang around to choose the easy jobs. He's there for his master. He's there for better or for worse. Whatever you need from me, that's what I'm ready to do. And he accepts all the jobs. An eved who is, as we say in one of the Shir Hamalos, Avdei Hashem ha'oimdim beveis Hashem balelos, where you're trustworthy and you're there also in the night times. And the nighttime, it could be also in quotes. You're there even for the night when it's not so rosy, and when it's not so good, and when it's not so clear. And that's what a real Eved Ivri, a person who's a real servant to the master, is one who doesn't pick and choose. I'm here for whatever you want from me. You are a real trooper, a real soldier. And that kind of Eved, the Pasuk tells us, the Pasuk tells us, Sheish Shanim Ya'avoid. And Nesivos Shalom tells us that these Sheish Shanim are alluded to by the 6 days of the week. When we say that a person is an Eved Hashem, and a person is ready to serve his master, we allude to and we say 6 days of the week you serve, and those are the times when you feel no reward and you don't feel any pleasure. You work for 6 days of the week, but you continue to do your job even when you think it's not so pleasant. But Uvashvi is Yetzelach of Shichinam, and Nesivos Shalom tells us that is a remez to us, where we serve Hashem 6 days of the week the way we should. And we don't ask questions, and we don't pick and choose, right? We say Judaism, it's not a salad bar. We don't go and we choose the things that are easy, the things that are the best colors, the things that look the best to us. Whatever we're supposed to do, whatever Hashem wants us to do, that's what we are there for. But Uvashvi is Yetzelach of Shichinam, and that's a remez to the Shabbos Kodesh. And on Shabbos Kodesh, where we become free, so to speak, where we shake loose of Olam Hazeh. And that Shabbos is like a reward for the work of the week. And Nesivos Shalom brings a remez that it says, B'yoymoi titein schoroi. The Torah tells us in a different place that when you have a worker, you're supposed to pay your worker. The Torah demands of us to pay our workers on the day that you're supposed to get paid. It's a law in the Torah not to pay an employee, not to pay somebody on the day that you're supposed to pay them. And the Torah tells us, on the day is when you are supposed to pay him his wages. And the Rashi Tevos of Biyoymai, Titein Schoroi, the first letter of each of those 3 words, Beis, Tav, and Shin, spells out Shabbos. Biyoymai, Titein Schoroi. So where we work for Hashem a whole week, but it comes to Shabbos, we can leave Olam Hazeh, and we go to a totally new world, and we bask in the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's when we receive our reward. And the Pasuk tells us what the highest level of serving Hashem really is. The Pasuk says, V'im yoymar ha'eved, ohavti es Adoni. I love my master. I don't want to go out. I love Hashem so much that all I want to do is serve Hashem. I don't want to go out. I don't even expect the schar. It comes to Shabbos, and we're saying that you can receive your schar for putting in 6 days of the week, but you say, I don't even expect the schar of ruchnius. I don't want anything from Hashem. I don't want any reward. I don't even want Shabbos, which is me'ein olam haba. I don't want any of that. And that is when you are on the highest level of Eved. And the Pasuk tells us, v'avodoi le'olam. And that's how we know that you are committed to Hashem. That's when we know you are an Eved Neman, where you're ready and willing to do whatever the job is. And that is an Eved Ivri. And that is the Parsha, that is what the Parsha of Eved Ivri is talking to us about. One who is ready to serve Hashem, whatever the job is and whenever it is. And that is really our job. That's the job of every Jew, to serve Hashem as an Eved Ivri. Bein bayoim, bein baloila. When it looks rosy, when it seems not so rosy to us. In the day, in the night, when times are tough, when times are easy. We also have to know that it's not based on the reward at all. The reward is nice. The reward is going to be very pleasurable and very good for us. But that's not why we serve Hashem. And as we mentioned, the Pasuk tells us, Uvashvi'is yetzelach of shichinam, that when it comes to Shabbos, we're different people. In the 7th year, the Torah tells us, the servant goes out, and he goes out free. And we said that this alludes in our lives to Shabbos. And the Nesivos Shalom tells us that on Shabbos, the way we leave Olam Hazeh on Shabbos is we elevate ourselves from any matzav that we may be in. And if we grab onto the Shabbos, Shabbos can bring us all the way back to Hashem from wherever we are. The Gemara Masechta Shabbos Daf Kuf Yud Ches Amud Beis tells us that if a person is Kol Hashomer Shabbos K'chasa, a person keeps Shabbos the way he should, Afilu Ovad Avodah Zarah Kedor Enosh. Even if a person is Ovad Avodah Zarah, Moichel Enoshai, he gets Mechila. You know why? Because Uvashviis, on the 7th year, the Torah says, but we're saying Uvashviis, on that 7th day of the week, Yetzei Lachav Shechinam. You go out free on Shabbos. And this says in the Nesivos Shalom is one of the Ikrei Emunah. It's one of the fundamental beliefs that every Jew needs to have, to believe that Hashem created the world in a way that nobody should ever feel totally alienated from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's an Ikar of Emunah. And every deficiency in the Bria, as we know, has a tikkun at the end. That's the way Hashem set up the world, that there are deficiencies and there's an Olam HaTikkun, where we have to fix everything up. Even the Tikkun Gomor at the time of Mashiach, when Mashiach comes, that's going to be to complete this process, as the Pasuk tells us in the Navi, Uvo ho'ivdim be'eretz Ashur, those who are lost, v'hanidochim be'eretz Mitzrayim, everyone, the oivdim, the people that are lost, and the nidachim, the people that we consider rejected, they're all going to come back. Even those who it seems are oivdim and nidachim, the ones that we gave up hope on, and we think that there is no hope, they also will have a tikkun. And that is the way Hashem created the Bria. And our way is to fix it. You know how? You know how we fix it? You know how we get to that point of coming back? And that is through Shabbos. And the Nesivos Shalom tells something very interesting. And he says that the same way one who does not believe in Mashiach, in the absolute tikkun of the world, that's what Mashiach is going to do. One who does not believe in that is an apikoros. So too, one must believe in the same way that the same way the tikkun of the world will come through Mashiach, and you need to believe in that. The tikkun of each and every person, each and every individual is possible, and you need to believe in that. And that is through Shabbos. That's how we get to that tikkun. Where we finally, after 6 days of the week, we leave, we put everything else aside, and we get the time to spend with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Get time to take stock and move to a different world. You need to believe in that. You need to believe that it is possible to fix every single individual. Nobody is ever lost. And you know how we get it? We get it through Shabbos. Shabbos teaches us that this is the way back. It's our first step back. It's our way back to Hashem. And every person has to believe not just about yourself. You need to believe that about everybody else. You need to understand that about every person, that just like in heaven, you go out, you go into a different world, you go to a different place, and through Shabbos, every person from the furthest place of the earth, the ones who are lost, the ones who are rejected, the ones who seem that they're banished, everybody can come back. And that's why you have to look at every person. Nobody is ever lost. Every Jew, every person is precious. Every person is a diamond. And every person can come back to Hashem because Hashem wants every one of us back.